The impeachment of President Donald Trump, the second in just over a year, is only the fourth impeachment trial of an American president in history, and the first with a president who's no longer in office.
What does the Constitution say about the situation we are in? As News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink explains tonight, the answer may surprise you.
On the first day of the trial, Democratic House impeachment managers say what President Trump did was so egregious he must be held accountable. On the other side, Trump's lawyers maintain that one argument is the trial's unfair because he's no longer in office. And on that argument, the Constitution doesn't specifically say one way or another.
As the second impeachment trial of now former President Trump gets underway, the constitutionality question of whether the Senate can hold a trial of this magnitude concerning a former president or any former federal office holder looms.
The Constitution's not very explicit about these things. The House has the sole authority to do impeachments. The Senate has the sole authority to do impeachment trials.
Chad Westerland, a professor at the U of A School of Government and Public Policy, says there is precedent for this. But you'd have to go back 145 years when in 1876, a cabinet secretary facing an impeachment resigned. He was still impeached, and the Senate voted to move forward with the trial.
Whether or not it's the right thing to do, whether or not it's the smart political thing to do, is a totally separate question. But it has happened before.
Retired Arizona Supreme Court Chief Justice Stanley Feldman, who was on the High Court's bench for 20 years in our state, says there's another first.
The victims are the jury. You ever see that on a criminal trial? I mean, the senators were imperiled by what happened when the Capitol was invaded. They are the victims, as well as the whole country.
Westerland ultimately argues impeachments are inherently political, with implications on both sides for 2022 and 2024.
If you are in the Republican Party right now, it's a much better conversation to have about whether or not this is the proper procedure than to talk about the events of January 6th.
We were invited by the President of the United States!
Oral arguments begin tomorrow. Each side gets 16 hours to make their case. 2/3 of the Senate would have to vote yes to convict President Trump. That means if all 100 senators were on the floor at the time of the vote, 17 Republicans would have to cross over. We've got you covered from Midtown. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson.